Eagle 98.1 Game Day is on.
Presented by Super Chevy. See your Super Chevy dealers of Baton Rouge.
This is LSU football.
Daniels takes the shotgun snap, looking to throw, airs it out, caught by Lacey at the 3, middle of the field, into the end zone, touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Snap back to Jaden, pump fake, now airs it out, down the field, Neighbors goes up, hauls it in, bobbles it, did he hold on? He did! Touchdown, Fighting Tigers!
LSU football on Eagle 98.1, the flagship home of the Tigers. Today, from Tiger Stadium, it's the LSU Tigers and the Texas A&M Aggies. Now,
Here's Charles Sandegriff and Matt Musso.
From the studios of the flagship at Eagle 98.1. Good morning and welcome to Eagle 98.1 Game Day. I'm Charles Hannegriff along with Matt Musso and our entire staff as we walk you up to this morning's kickoff, the regular season finale between the LSU Tigers and the Texas A&M Aggies. Suffice to say that neither of these teams had exactly the type of regular season that they wanted. LSU comes in with a record of 8-3, 5-2 in the Southeastern Conference, and last week they beat Georgia State by a score of 56-14. LSU's season got off to a rocky start in Orlando with a 21-point loss at the hands of Florida State. 3 straight wins led them to Oxford, where they lost in a shootout by 6 points, 55-49. It was about that time that the nation started to take a longer look at Jaden Daniels and the numbers that he was putting up, despite the fact that LSU had lost 2 games to that point. That preceded another 3-game win streak against Missouri, Auburn, and Army before the Tigers headed to Tuscaloosa with the division championship well within their sights and a Heisman Trophy on the radar for Daniels. That game ended in a 42-28 loss to the Tide and ended LSU's hopes of going back to Atlanta as Western Division champions. But the Tigers came back with 2 big wins against Florida and Georgia State. Big wins in the fact that LSU scored 52 and 56 points, and Daniels, against a lot of odds after the Alabama loss, put himself right back squarely in the middle of the Heisman race. Now, depending on what service you look at, Daniels is either a favorite or a small underdog as we head into the final weekend of the regular season. We'll be talking lots about the Heisman today. Texas A&M comes in with a record of 7-4, 4-3 in Southeastern Conference play. An early season non-conference loss, much like LSU's in the state of Florida, put Texas A&M's season on a dangerous path. They'd come back with a 3-game win streak before losing to Alabama and Tennessee, which effectively ended their hopes of a Western Division title. They bounced back with a win against South Carolina, a loss against Ole Miss, and then a win against Mississippi State by their biggest margin in conference play by far, which ironically led to the departure of Jimbo Fisher and his much ballyhooed buyout of $76 million. Interim coach for the Abilene Christian game, and today here against LSU, and probably before I would say a week or 2 passes, we will know who the new full-time coach is at Texas A&M as they'll seek to restart their program. Both of these teams will be going bowling, and, of course, this game has got a little chippiness to it over the years. Musso, there's a lot on the line. There's not a lot on the line today. For LSU, this is Jaden Daniels' last chance to make his mark with the voters. There's nothing he can do about next weekend. All he can control is what there is today. This would also put LSU in line to, if they won today in a bowl game, to get to their second straight 10-win season, which is not insignificant. For A&M, they just like to go into the offseason having something to feel good about as they welcome in whoever their next coach is. So while there's not a division title on the line today, there's not a playoff berth on the line, and the bowls are going to shake out however they do, there is more than a little bit of interest in what's going on at Tiger Stadium today.
There is, and I think you can approach all 3 of those things kind of from a different angle the way you laid it out, right? I mean, first and foremost, tie into the Heisman, you have to win the game. Like, LSU has to get to 9 wins for Jaden to even continue to have a chance. And it plays into the 10-win factor that Brian Kelly's talked about in building the consistency. With Daniels, you've heard the golf analogy a lot, right? Go out, post your number, get in the clubhouse, and make somebody come chase you. Bo Nix is going to have an opportunity to come chase you, but you would imagine that Jaden Daniels will go out and post numbers today. And lastly, you mentioned the A&M. LSU's been in this situation a couple years ago in 2021 where you were sending Ed Ogeron out. I know it's not exactly the same thing, but it's kind of, and you played inspired that night. You hope that A&M doesn't do the same tonight to feel good going into their bowl game.
An unusual morning kickoff, but
Yes.
we're happy to be here with you, and we're ready for today's game. We'll check in with Gordy Rush, who'll be on the sidelines today with the LSU Sports Radio Network when we come back. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day Skull Session.
Presented by Gulf Coast Bank. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
And we welcome you back in. Our LeBears countdown to kickoff just under 4 hours from right now in Tiger Stadium for the final regular season game of the year. We welcome in Gordy Rush. He'll be on the sidelines today. Gordy, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys.
There's a lot of questions that we've got about today's game. The first thing is, did you make it into campus okay?
No traffic, even with the lovely renovated Nicholson corridor.
Yeah.
Get right to campus, and actually, I think I'm second in my parking lot. So
okay,
that's probably a record for me.
Well, I was, concerned if you had made it on Nicholson Drive, which they have, been testing missiles on for the last 6 months without apparently any intention of ever fixing it. It's a lovely for a city this size to have such a major thoroughfare just completely blasted to hell, and the city not doing anything to fix it. But hey, I guess we'll just deal with it. I guess is what the city told us, right?
Just deal with it.
Just
absolutely.
Just 6 months, worth of Anyway, I had to drive in on that crap this morning.
Yeah.
I got to drive on that road, most days.
Every day,
and,
right?
And,
Yeah.
and 30,000 other students and faculty, and you would think they would fix the road, okay, after 6 months. At least put somebody out there working. Show me that you're making an effort, please. All right, let me get to the football part of this. Gordy, Texas A&M defensively has been one of the better units in the country this year, despite the overall struggles of the team. The defense has done a very good job. They are number one in the nation in tackles for loss, and they're second in the nation in sacks. So what challenges does this present for Jaden Daniels and the LSU offense?
Well, they get after you. And there are a couple things. I think that, D.J. Durkin was a 3-4 guy for the longest time, came to Texas A&M. Jimbo already had a 4-man front in place, and they kind of stayed with that. But really, they're versatile. They show you a lot of different looks, a lot of different personnel packages. And they're going to look at that Alabama film. They're going to look at that Florida State film. I know that was, years ago, and it seems like in LSU offensively was not executing at the level they are now. But they're going to feel like that they're going to have to get physical with that front line and try and hit Jaden some. And that's what I expect this morning.
Last week, Brian Kelly was talking in the post game about how Daniels has pretty much seen every different look that you can give him across the course of the Southeastern Conference schedule. So what might he see different today, if anything, that he hasn't seen before, as far as a coverage, a stunt, anything that he might not have seen?
Well, look, Florida, I mean, they've seen everything. Florida really got after LSU and were kind of exotic in some of the blitz packages that they sent, really unorthodox stuff. I think some of that you're going to see a little bit out of Texas A&M. They've seen a whole lot of spy packages, and they've done a wonderful job of having LSU has a tailback staying in to block and then slow releasing to put that spy in a little bit of a dilemma whether he takes a running back or he stays on Jaden Daniels. You can't just do one thing. They've seen it all. But I think that the key to it, Charles, is if I'm the defensive coordinator, I want to go hit Daniels. I mean, you hate putting it like that. I mean, Alabama wanted to knock him out of the football game. Florida State got physical with him. He's going to get his, but you want to hit him each and every time that he's going to try and tuck it or throw the football.
Miami piled up 450 yards offense and 48 points. Ole Miss, 38 points. These are the two best results against the A&M defense so far this season. Anything you saw when you looked at some of this film or maybe in some other games, what had the most success against what's been a pretty good defense overall?
Yeah, I put Miami in the same bucket with LSU Florida State. That was, that was in the beginning of the season. They weren't set, and I don't think they had their grouping, and they were messy. Ole Miss was a different story. I think there's opportunities to throw the ball out on the edge. They're not spectacular at the cornerback position. They're okay in the secondary. The strength of this defense is the front seven. I also, I think tempo is going to work today because A&M, A&M, as I mentioned, very versatile. They want to give a lot of different looks. They can run some four-man front. They run some three-man front. They want to try and confuse you. I think the quicker you go no huddle. You're going to lock in the personnel. The quicker you go, you're going to limit the amount of creativity that D.J. Durkin can utilize tonight. So I think that's what you see out of LSU. It'll be interesting to see with Logan Diggs, who's been out the last 2 weeks. I think he brings an added element to the game. Last year in College Station, LSU was absolutely unable to run the football, didn't get much help from the tailbacks, and A&M was really able to pin their ears back and go after Daniels.
Let's flip sides of the ball. How much do we really know about what we're going to see from A&M offensively today? We're on quarterback number 3, and Jimbo Fisher's not there. So Bobby Petrino, I guess, has a little bit more free reign today than he would have had maybe in some of the games earlier this year. You may feel differently. I don't know how much of the offensive numbers we can trust from A&M because, well, what they accomplished when compiling those numbers came with a different coach and a different quarterback for the most part. So what are you expecting today?
Yeah, I don't know how much you can really change in that this is a third quarterback, right? And so about Jalen Henderson, played 2 years at Fresno, appeared in 5 games, only had 8 total passes out there at Fresno, was a 3-star kid. A little bit of a dual threat. By no means is he Milroe. I think what he has done for them has brought a little bit of a spark in that gives the receivers a chance with the deep ball. So he's thrown the ball, I think, vertically better than the prior 2 guys have. And it can make some plays with his feet, right? And so you look at what LSU has struggled with. First off, they've struggled with tempo. I mean, Florida ran it. Heck, Georgia State came in here and scripted some tempo stuff. And because that LSU's so green on the back end, they've had to be really, really vanilla in what they've called. I think some of the good things for LSU is that you have a new quarterback. You don't expect them to run a whole lot of tempo. I think there's some hand-holding in which Bobby Petrino is going to want to do some check with knees at the line of scrimmage and help him, guide him through some of these things so that House can't dial up a whole lot of pressure. For me, attacking it, I'm going to go get him. This Texas A&M offensive line has struggled. It's not an elite offensive line. They're okay run blocking, but they really struggled with protection. They gave up a sack and a forced, I guess, interception. Ball was popped in the air. It was the first touchdown against Abilene Christian. Abilene Christian had a lot of success in the first half, blitzing and getting after him a little bit. The concern on the back end, they've got good receivers back there. Nia Smith's a good slot. I don't know what happened to Moose Muhammad. He had 22 catches on the season so far after 11 football games. He's been a pain in LSU's rear end. He's a big receiver. Walker, the junior, is 6'4". He can go get the football. So they've got 3 wide receivers. They have 3 solid running backs. My looking at it, I want to be aggressive and dial up a little bit of heat and get after Henderson and make him feel uncomfortable on the road in this stadium in just his 3rd start.
Reports out of College Station are that they will be without Evan Stewart today, that he did not make the trip. Rumors are he may be headed towards the transfer portal, but A&M not likely to have their second leading receiver today. All right, Gordy, this is the last game. I know how much you love Senior Day because it, and we do this every year, but you're not a big fan of disrupting pregame routines, but that's what it is. So that's one minor distraction. But the other part is for A&M, they'll have a new coach the next time that they take the field. And for LSU, they'll be playing for a bowl game, but this is it for the home finale. So the intangibles about, we've seen teams play loose and free in the last game and really get after it, and we've seen some other teams, look like they're ready to pack it in. I'm just wondering what you're expecting today.
I think A&M's going to play well. I think they're going to play really, really loose. I had a chance to watch their the Pulse or whatever the little 30 series is inside their football program, and talking to the people that I know around that program, you could have cut the tension with a knife, right? With the this year with Jimbo Fisher, and they've played that way. They've made some critical mistakes, and some of these losses they played uptight. It was just Abilene Christian. It's a tough one to assess. But I think they're going to come in here, with house money. They're going to play loose, and they're going to get after Jaden Daniels and cut it loose a little bit. I think the wild card for me is what is Bobby Petrino capable of doing with Henderson in 2 weeks? You're not going to show any of what you want to do against Abilene Christian. Gosh, you're going to look at that Florida package and that triple option, the RPOs, the real simple stuff that people have had success with LSU. I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see that a lot of that. I just think LSU is going to get a couple stops in order to win this football game. That's going to be the difference.
Last thing, there's one really, really important football game today being played in the Big Ten.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm not talking about Ohio State, Michigan. I'm talking about the game for the Old Oaken Bucket. One of those two teams, Indiana and Purdue, is going to come out of there with their 4th win of the season. And the Old Oaken Bucket, boiler up? You feel good? You confident?
Where's that game at? Is it in West Lafayette?
I don't even know.
It is. It is. Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
it's in
in
West
Ross
Lafayette.
Aid.
I'll tell you what. There's nothing like a late November Saturday in West Lafayette while the basketball team's across the street getting ready. They'll have triple the attendance in Mackey Arena than they will at Ross Aid Stadium. I'm not feeling good about the Boilers. It's a transition year. And I think it's a great example of what happens when your program gets gutted with the transfer portal in modern day. I'm pulling for the Boilers. I think it's going to be a tough task. But I wouldn't mind watching that game. As long as I never have to watch a half of Iowa, Nebraska again in my life, I will watch Indiana, Purdue. That might have been the worst watch of the football season.
What about the possibility of LSU versus Iowa in a bowl game? Would that be the biggest contrast in styles that you've ever seen?
I mean, Penn State beat them 31-0. I think that defense is lovely in the last year of what is the Big Ten West, but it's an awful watch. Who gets 2 field goals blocked? I mean, in the
short
first
field
half.
goals blocked.
I mean, it's just. The game that you get a little coffee and decide to watch when you finally have some downtime and you get to dial up that view. No Iowa. I might send Musso to the bowl trip if we're playing.
That's not a good one.
It's a bad watch in a year where we saw Arkansas and Mississippi State played a 7-3 final score.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take solace in the fact that Purdue, the basketball team, really good. Okay, Zach Edey, the 7-footer, they're really good. Okay,
where's the guy's name? Odie, or put him in the tight end.
Yeah, Edey. He's 7'4" and probably about 280 pounds, and he's got soft hands, so you could probably use him. Gordy, have a good call today. We'll talk to you in post game.
Okay, guys. Musso, have a great date Sunday. Okay.
Thank you, Gordy. I appreciate it.
We will take a break here. When we come back, Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl will be in with our scouting report. That is next. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day Scouting Report.
Presented by Demco. Demco, powering lives, brightening the future.
And welcome back into Eagle 98.1 Game Day. LSU, Texas A&M. Another early kickoff here for the Tigers. This time at home. But let's take a closer look at the Aggies. Nonetheless, we'll welcome in Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Jim, we've reached the season finale. It feels like it kind of went by in a blink of an eye, but here we are. Good morning. How are you?
Doing great, Matt. Yeah, it certainly went by fast.
Always does. It's 12 games, and they fly. Looking at the Aggies, we normally kind of start on the offensive side of the ball, but with Texas A&M, I feel like you have to start on defense. They rank near or at the top of just about every category in the Southeastern Conference, and it gets started with a guy who, well, I'll let you tell me, but seems like probably the best prospect on the unit as a whole, and that's linebacker Edrin Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely say that now. Going into the year, we actually had McKinley Jackson, their nose tackle, graded higher, and it's really a tale of two players for Edrin Cooper. You watch the first month of the season, and he looked like a middle round linebacker, and then you watch the last, about 6 weeks, and something clicked for him. We've heard that it's a sit down with defensive coordinator DJ Durkin, but Edrin looks like he's playing at a whole different level these past 6 weeks. I mean, more urgency, a lot more production downhill. And if you just look at the physical tools of Edrin Cooper in terms of the combination of length and closing speed and range, he's going to be one of the top couple linebackers in this year's draft. And it's been really cool to see. Since he's flipped the switch, he's been really an impact player for that defense.
How have they been so successful with him in the pass rush game? Because looking at it, I mean, he leads the team in sacks, and there's plenty of guys on this group that can get after the quarterback.
Well, they're just dialing up more blitzes, and he's being more aggressive when he does blitz. He's getting home a lot more. I talked about the closing speed, but there's an element of physicality that wasn't there before when they would bring him that's there now. So again, I just saw something on TV over a month ago. ESPN did a little piece on him, and they credited the conversation with DJ Durkin. And I love seeing coaches kind of untap players, and he's certainly untapped a big-time player in Edrin Cooper. Still don't know if he's going to play this week. I know he lost his girlfriend last Saturday after their game, so I know they're talking to their staff earlier in the week. They did not know if Edrin was going to be available or not. But if he's out there, he's certainly a guy LSU is going to have to account for.
For sure. Did see that news, and condolences as well. You mentioned McKinley Jackson there kind of right off the top as well. And look, he is just a wall of a human being in the middle of that Texas A&M defensive line. And they have him listed at 6'2", 325. And he's agile.
Super explosive player. One of the easiest guys we had to grade over the summer. He missed some time early last year, and when he came back, I want to say his first game back was Alabama, and he just wrecked shop. This kid's really disruptive, can get into the backfield. He's not just a space eater. He's a guy that can penetrate, and he's going to be hard for them to handle on the inside. I mean, they've done a good job. Charles Turner's played well all season, but this is going to be probably his biggest task of the season in terms of guys that can really get upfield on him and be explosive. He's played other good players like Cam Jackson at Florida, but Cam's more of like a guy that just kind of holds the point of attack, and it's hard to move in the run game. McKinley's different because he's a lot to handle on passing down.
Then it's not just him on the defensive line. There's also Fidel Diggs, who has put together a really nice year for the Aggies.
Yeah, Diggs is a really good player. Shamar Turner is another guy, the underclassman, who's a really good player. But, Diggs for the Senior Bowl, he's going to be kind of a fringe player for us. But when you look at him, he's over 6'4", he's 260 pounds, he's got long arms. So he's got all the physical traits the NFL is looking for. He's going to get drafted. He's had his moments. He's had a couple 2-sack games this year. So they're disruptive. This front seven's as talented as any front seven in the SEC. When you just look at it player for player and prospect for prospect, they stack up with everybody.
One in the secondary, Damani Richardson, because, look, this is going to be an interesting matchup, obviously, with Jaden Daniels, who is competing for the Heisman Trophy. This is his last chance to show out, and we've talked about it here, Jim, plenty, the improvements that Jaden has made throwing the football. How does this secondary, specifically, I guess, a guy like Richardson, who's got some length, match up with Jaden Daniels and the LSU receivers?
It's going to be a struggle for A&M on the back end. They're going to have to get heat on Jaden. They're going to have to contain Jaden because if you go, secondary versus wide receiver group, LSU's got a huge advantage there. So, Damani's played a lot of football there, but he's more of a in the box type safety. If they can get him matched up in coverage, he's going to struggle. That's just the bottom line. LSU's had their struggles in the secondary this year as well, but A&M does not match up well with this LSU receiver core.
Talking with Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl, our scouting report on the Texas A&M Aggies. He's on Twitter at JimNagy_SB. Let's flip sides of the ball here, Jim, if we could. A couple on the offensive side to get to. Start at the receiver position. Aniyah Smith, he feels like he's been at Texas A&M forever, and part of the reason it feels that way is because he is just explosive, and they can use him in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, kind of a Swiss Army knife playmaker for him. He's had a great career. Watching a game a couple weeks ago, he's done something. When you stack up rushing numbers, receiving numbers, return numbers, he's hit numbers that nobody in college football has ever hit when you look at these certain benchmark numbers, statistics. So, he's got a kind of a running back skill set. They're going to look to get at the ball in his hands any way they can. He's really good in the punt return game, dynamic that way. So, he's probably going to fall, if we're just talking round-wise in this year's draft. I would expect Aniyah to come off no later than the fourth round. He's a guy that can just do so many things. Everyone's kind of looking for that Deebo Samuel type of player at the next level, and he's not Deebo, but he's a really good player, and you can do a lot of things with him.
And then on the offensive line at the guard position for Texas A&M, you have Layden Robinson, who I know would it be fair to kind of call him a riser this year?
Well, he's had his best year. 2 years ago he had a really nice year and was thinking about coming out that year as a junior. Then came back to school, and last year dealt through it with a lot of injuries, and so he really kind of fell down teams' boards. And I know he got that kind of feedback, so he felt like he had to come back this year, kind of reestablish himself as a third or fourth round type of player, which he has done. He's played really well. He will get a Senior Bowl invite. We do expect him here in Mobile. So, yeah, he's a guy that projects as a starting level player at the next level. And they've got a good young line. They've got a lot of talent on that line. I was over there in August checking that group out. Layden's the only senior, but that's a good front. 2 or 3 years down the road, we'll see what happens with their coaching staff and who gets brought in. But whoever A&M hires, they're inheriting a good situation up front because they do have talent on that offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, the Aggies, that's the one thing everybody's always said here lately is that the talent that they have, and that's, when you have that much talent, sometimes you don't produce, it does result in the coaching change. Jim, we appreciate the time as always, not just this week, but all year. It's been fantastic, and we look to link up for a bowl game here somewhere, I guess, in the next month.
That would be great, Matt. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll get back together for that bowl game.
Absolutely, Jim. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. That is Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Of course, giving us a scouting report on Texas A&M. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side or more, continuing to count you down. LSU, Texas A&M from Tiger Stadium. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your path.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Otter Locks.
Presented by Excel. For over 30 years, excellence in providing construction engineering and fabrication services. For information, visit us at excelusa.com.
Now, here's Jimmy Ott.
The Bears count down to kickoff about 3.5 hours before LSU and Texas A&M go at it. We bring in Jimmy Ott with a full slate of games here today. Well, I guess not a full slate. We had 13 yesterday. But, Jimmy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Charlie. Sad news for a lot of purple and gold fans today. Former equipment manager, one of Jeff Foss's favorite understudies, Donald Truckemel, headed to his funeral services in Lafayette. Died at the age of 60. The truck was a man. My old college roommate. A lot of guys like Short Bull, Wayne LeBlanc, Greg Stringfellow. A lot of people. Understudies under Jeff Foss, who went on to do equipment manager, jobs of their own at different colleges all over the country. Of course, Truck was with Tommy Bowden at Tulane at an undefeated season, assistant AD at Clemson before Dabo took over. So, guy bled purple and gold, baby. We laid him to rest today. Truck email.
Yeah, and I had a chance to meet him a number of times. A great guy, and also had a relationship with Will Wade from their time together at Clemson. Correct?
Yeah. Well, Will was on Oliver Purnell's staff as basically a staffer and working his way up at that time and as an equipment manager. And so when they. I got them together and reunited them when Will was in Baton Rouge, and Will was one of the guys that I called, man, to let him know. And so, no, they were very close as well. Will not doing too bad on his own right now. So over at McNeese State. So.
All right, and our condolences, of course, to the family. Musso, you got in front of you the updated Heisman odds. I want to get to that before we get to games, Jimmy. Last night, Bo Nix. threw for 367 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He also ran for 31 yards and a touchdown. So another good performance, and most importantly, the 31-7 win puts Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game, so he'll have another chance. Musso, read us the updated Heisman odds after Nix's night last night.
Yeah, so I have 6 books in front of me, and in half of them, Jaden's the favorite, half of them, Bo Nix is the favorite. If you look at Bet Rivers and DraftKings, that's where the biggest disparity is, where Nix is at minus 125. To show how close the race has kind of gotten, though, Daniels only has minus odds now in 2 books, Caesars and FanDuel, and he's even money at BetMGM. So it has tightened up.
Jimmy, if Daniels has the type of – go ahead.
Excuse me, Charlie. Skeezers is exactly minus 110. And I would sum it up as that this is probably the closest, with DraftKings, 35 cents difference in favor of Knicks. BetMGM, Daniels a 10-cent favorite, even money to Knicks plus 110 and Caesars. This is basically a dead heat right now, in entering, and which is not bad because Knicks played really well against a pretty good defense. Thing is, and everything's about perception, and we're dealing with some really goofy things on that may decide this Heisman the rest of the way. But 31-7 is not 62-14, if you know what I mean. It doesn't have that bang to it. But man, he was really good, really efficient, and you talked about it yesterday, and what I thought about him as he improved, his throwing, his accuracy, just as Daniels, which has really elevated him, his commitment to the pocket, his patience in the pocket, and his accuracy and his touch, and that's what Nix has improved so much as well. Both are really good athletes, but they fine-tune that passing, and that's brought them to another level. Both of these guys.
Jimmy, if Daniels has the type of day today that he's had, let's say, over the last month, another somewhere in the area of 450 to 500 yards worth of total offense, and that would be a haul against this A&M defense. Yeah, I mean, but he was on pace to do that against Alabama before he was knocked out of the game. Well, let's say 400 yards. Okay, let's say he matches Nix's from last night. What concerns me is if they're at equal odds or very close to what is equal odds right now, Nix gets one more game. I think that might put him over the top. If he has a game in the Pac-12 championship game similar to what he had last night, and Daniels is not going to play next week, that's where I think Nix can win this thing. I'm not sure how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is an advantage to have that platform game, and Nick is going to have one, and Daniels won't next week. And it's going to be a standalone game. I mean, I think they have the CUSA championship maybe also go head up. Big deal. It's all odds going to be on Fox next Friday night for that Washington. Because not only that, Charlie, the Pac-12 has been really good this year. Oh, the SEC is good too. But the Pac-12 has been good. It's their swan song, and this is basically a play-in for the playoff. And Washington, I just thought that Knicks would just go in there and because Washington's defense is not so great. They played well, although in rainy conditions, against Oregon State last week. It'll be interesting, but Daniels has the better numbers. Okay, gets the better competition than Nix. Nix is going to have that last game. Yeah, that's an advantage, but Daniels' numbers are better. The thing I like about, and I'm sorry to scoff on, because 500, we're throwing these around.
Man, lost him there.
75. Say
back.
four. Texas A&M is perceived as being a really good defense.
Okay, so let's see if let's see if we can hook back up with him. I think where he's going with this is that A&M's defense has been had in a couple of these games. Number one against Miami, the 450 yards. Now that was a long time ago. That was back in week 2 of the season, and they're a lot different now. I can't tell you exactly how schematically they're going to attack Jaden Daniels, but I think what Gordy was saying earlier, they want to hit him. They want to be physical with him. So we'll see. I think we got Jimmy back. Jimmy, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
I heard you on the radio. That's exactly what I was trying to say. The better offenses have had their way. What about the Ole Miss games? You watched that game, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, that was what, a block, scoop, and score. How did A&M? I forget. Wasn't it a block, scoop, and score, or a defensive touchdown that got them back in the game?
Yes.
Man, they were getting blown out. Ole Miss went up and down the field on them. LSU's a better offense than Ole Miss. Ain't no doubt in my mind. You don't think Jaden Daniels is better than Jackson Dart? You don't think the receivers are better than what Ole Miss has? There's no doubt. So, and we know about Miami went up and down. That was way early. But what Ole Miss did, what Alabama did at their place when they were sky high, keep in mind how much A&M had on the line that Alabama game. That was their hump game. That was a big, big deal. They had the ball up 7 in the second half when Max Johnson threw an early down interception, and then it fell apart on him. I don't know what kind of effort we're going to see out of A&M. Can I say something that's really might be goofy, too, with this? Because nobody's watching LSU. The bulk of the country is not watching LSU A&M. They're watching Michigan, Ohio State. But they will see all day, all night, the highlights. If he has a guy wide open, I mean, like, oh, man, look, he just got guys wide open. He's throwing the ball, kind of like Tua with Devontae Smith and, Ruggs and Waddle and those guys. But if he makes a couple of throws, say that Mississippi State throws, where it's in that tight window and Neighbors is barely getting his feet, I don't know. That's just going through my mind. That everything, perception, every little thing, it's so close. I cannot remember a Heisman Trophy, a race that is so close at this stage of the season. And all these little things matter to me. I don't know if you agree or not.
Yeah, and I think it could be a run. One of those, ankle-breaking jukes on somebody.
Yeah.
If you got something like that, something that's really an oh wow type of moment. Closest Heisman race, I think.
Yeah, one of those 75-yard runs.
Yes.
Against Florida.
That'll do. That'll do it.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, the big game in Ann Arbor today, Ohio State and Michigan. We like different sides here. You're with the home team. How come?
Because, listen, this first 9 games was as weak of a schedule as we've seen in a long time for the Michigan Wolverines. And they sleepwalked early, but then they got, they pulverized the Penn State, Charlie. I mean, they kind of didn't blow them out as much as they could have. Massive sandwich spot. Ohio State's on the way. So between at Penn State, their first real test of the entire season, and then Ohio State, you got Maryland. They were up 23-3. Classic sandwich spot. They got them at home. They're way better at quarterback. Look, McCord might be Joe Burrow next year. This year, he ain't. And they're flat out calling plays that don't really exude the most confidence in them. They got them at home. They've galvanized with them against the world. And I just think they're the better team. For the first time in a long stretch, they have more guys, more pro players on their roster than Ohio State does. I love Michigan in this spot, but I really like the under. This is a Woody Bow game where, both teams are fine, just playing old-style football. And yards are tough to come by against Michigan. I go back to that Notre Dame game. Ohio State was very fortunate to win that game. I thought Notre Dame lost it more than Ohio State won it. I like Michigan normal, but I really like the under 46 in the early game.
Another game that there's going to be a lot of eyes on today in Gainesville, Florida State and Florida. Florida's trying to get bowl eligible, but that couldn't matter less. Florida State is trying to get into the playoff without Jordan Travis. So it's a pair of backup quarterbacks today. Graham Mertz is out for Florida as well. Jimmy, I think we both are on the same page that if Florida State wins these next 2 games, this game and against Louisville in the ACC championship game, that they are in. But are you watching today just, I hate to use the word style points, but I know there'll be a lot of eyes on the Seminoles today without Travis.
Charlie, Florida, it's a rivalry. It's at Gainesville, and Louisville's a top 10 team. Aren't they going to have to get, at least mediocre play from the quarterback to win these games?
Yes.
And, and even if they don't, that style point's enough for me. On the road in a a team that went toe-to-toe, last-second field goal, a 4th and 17 away from beating a top 10 team on the road. Mertz was knocked out late in the third in that one, so they finished the game, with Max Brown there. I don't think style points are that necessary. It's going to be something really, really flukish, lucky for them to pull it off to get it. Man, you have to put them in. You have to put them in. It's not like they're playing, Navy and freaking, Western Kentucky the last two. They're on the road at Florida in the swamp and then playing a top 10 team in a neutral site. They're in if they win.
I agree. Tell us who's bringing us Otter Locks.
Excel and excelusa.com. Charlie, I'm sorry I'm on the road here, but our friends over at Excel, you deserve a facility enhancement process that peoples you forward and doesn't weigh you down. One-stop shop for construction, maintenance, turnarounds, fabrication, disaster recovery. For more information, go to excelusa.com. You're happy I'm up this early, boy? My God, what the hell are we doing up this early?
Safe travels, my friend, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on Football Sunday from the Queen.
Yes, indeed. See you, Charlie.
All right, we'll take a break. We come back. OTB on Game Day is next. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
We're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2020
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Off the bench on Game Day. Presented by Shell. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana. Off the bench is heard weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from OTB, Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
I mean, right now, you're looking at a team. We'll get into Jaden and everything else and 8 touchdowns on Saturday, but you're looking at a team that finished with 5 touchdown drives against the Florida Gators. This last Saturday, they go 8 of 8 every time they touch the ball. they scored a touchdown. 13 touchdown drives in a row. And now you get the Texas A&M Aggies in Death Valley with revenge on the mind. Yeah, it's a bad time to be an Aggie.
Well,
That's what I would say.
Is there a good time?
No, that's fair.
I mean,
after a home win when the cadets
That's
are
true.
dunking the yell leaders.
That's
in the,
true.
in the,
I
in the
mean,
pool,
look,
that's
you
always a good
you never expect it, and it just happens. So there's a lot, this weekend to have that team coming into your stadium. Maybe the final opportunity that we get to see some of these guys in an LSU uniform. I mean, you never know the bowl situation, and it's been special on the offensive side of the football. Has it been in the totality of everything? No, we know this. Well, you have 3 losses, but still you can appreciate what they're doing offensively. I mean, some of these things have never happened before, and so you get a chance to go out there, close the regular season on a very high note, get to 9 wins with a chance at 10 wins. BK's mentioned that so many times, even after the game on Saturday. And again, to do it against that team, which you lost to last year. They were a bad football team, and you didn't show up at their place, and you want to make sure you show up at your place.
Yeah, it was the postgame for Brian Kelly was interesting, and I would recommend anybody going to listen to it because sometimes you expect coaches to maybe shy away from things that we hold to be obvious because, traditionally they're not things that coaches talk about, but he's being very upfront about a couple things. First off, he is being very upfront about the Heisman campaign and basically saying, yeah, look, we all know what's on the line right now. We want him to be celebrated for his greatness. And so, yeah, we left him in and we wanted to give him the opportunity to score. And we wanted to give him the opportunity to amass statistics since, look, you had Bo Nix go off in that first half on Saturday. And so that was kind of interesting. And he's also not shying away from the 10-win metric. Not saying, it's a problem. No, he's saying, look, man, we're trying to build a consistent winner. And back-to-back 10-win seasons is exactly how you do that. Obviously, you have to beat A&M, and then you're going to have to win a bowl game. So, we'll see what bowl you end up in eventually. But if you beat A&M, you're probably not going to go New Year's 6. We can get into all that. But the point is, a lot of people are going to be flipping about the bowl game, not unlike last year, but like last year, I do think that 10-win metric matters. And even if you disagree with me, well, you're also disagreeing with Coach Brian Kelly because he said the same thing after the game. So he is very clearly being very upfront about trying to get Jaden this Heisman and finish this season strong. And why wouldn't you? He's never had a Heisman winner. And this is a man who has nearly every other, accolade and trophy. Obviously, kind of the 2 big ones that he wouldn't have be a Heisman winner and would be a national championship trophy. Well, he has the ultra rare opportunity to check one of those boxes this game and, this season. And they're going for it. So fully expect Jaden and the offense to be locked in, ready to go, and loaded this Saturday. And what more can you say about JD5, Jake? It's just so already he very clearly looks like a pro playing with college kids. But then that's when you play like SEC opponents or top 10 opponents. When he got against Georgia State, a lesser non-power 5 team. It looked like a varsity kid out there with junior high. There wasn't a bead of sweat on him. 25 of 30, like Kelly said, 25 of 30 for over 400 yards. So a near perfect completion percentage, but not dink and dunk with massive chunk plays. Yeah. Everything looks so slow to him. Everything looks so easy for him right now. And, it's again, as we talk about giving thanks, gratitude, what you appreciate in life. I appreciate every opportunity I get at this point, even if it is against the Georgia State. Look, I made no bones about it. I hate these late cupcakes. I really do. From a spectator standpoint, I think they're lame. But I'll be damned if I didn't love watching Jaden Daniels play on Saturday. We had a great time at Don Juan. Everybody going crazy. He's just so much fun. It's incredible.
How could you not have a good time watching Jaden Daniels? 25 of 30, 413, 6 touchdowns through the air, adds another 2 on the ground, 9.6 yards per carry, the leading rusher as far as rushing yards per attempt in the country. Not quarterbacks, not just running backs and everybody, literally everybody. He is the leading guy in the country, and that's not even what he's doing through the air is Heisman worthy, and then you say something like that on the ground, over 1,000 yards again 3,000 through the air, 1,000 on the ground, like time and time. Every time we open up these mics, it feels like he's doing something that either hasn't ever been done or it hasn't been done in a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, whatever it might be. His processing has been incredible, T-Bob. It is check, 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 go.
Yeah.
I mean, everything has a purpose to it. It's not, hey, let me get the ball, let me look around. I think I might know the coverage. He knows exactly what the coverage is. He goes to his progression, and then that's when you see him run. I mean, so he is running because the progression is not there, not because he knows he's a better athlete than everybody.
And let's be clear, there's a couple things to touch on that BK talked about after the game, one of which is when you have an offense that's playing at this level, they scored 13 touchdowns in a row, it's not just Jaden. Now, he is the main engine behind it all, right? But you have an offense as a whole right now that is as good as any you will ever watch in an LSU uniform. And again, as we talk about being grateful, that's something to ruminate on this week. I mean, you have what I still believe to be the best LSU offensive line that I've ever seen as an adult. I guess you could say from like the time I got done playing on. I won't get into like, some of those maybe early Saban lines. I was a kid, so in my mind, I don't think I'm very objective about them, right? But I've been doing this job for 10 years now. I think this is the best offensive line I've ever seen them have. They're so boring, Jake, that I actually don't even like. I don't even know how to break down film on them because they're just too good. Like nobody gets beat. Like I remember one MA this game where Emory Jones had a little miscommunication and let his guy go inside him thinking he had help. He didn't. But what did Jaden do? He just scrambled. It was no problem, right?
Yeah.
But like Kelly said, so you have an O-line that's absolutely incredible. You have wide receivers that block down field because they know their quarterback can run and make big plays, but then they also know their quarterback's going to reward them with getting to them in the progression. So if you are the third or the fourth guy like a Kyron Lacey, you better run your ass hard because you're going to have opportunity to make plays. And so you have guys that are mentally bought in, and then physically, the talent level of this offense. Again, you're talking two bookend tackles. Like Will Campbell's going to play tackle in the NFL for a very long time. I'm not sure if Emory Jones is going to be a guard or tackle. What I do know is he's going to be a damn good NFL O-lineman for a very long time.
Yeah, we saw it a week ago, Florida. They tried to bring guys from everywhere. They tried to bring corner cat. They tried to bring guys from the nickel position. They tried to bring 6. They tried to bring 7. They tried to do everything. And because of this offensive line and, knowing their assignment and also being really good at what they do, right, they're going to pick that up. And even if they don't, right, Jaden understands the assignment. He understands what he has to do with the football. Kind of the same thing in this game, right? So many times you saw him go through his progression, and then that's when he takes off and also does a really nice job in the pocket and creating that space and knows when to like pump fake just a little bit to get somebody to just stop their feet, and then they're not going to ever tackle Jaden Daniels once they stop their feet. And then he just like a snake, man. He just slithers through the defense, and you can't get a shot on him. He's faster than you think he is. He creates angles for you, not to really have that opportunity to tackle him in open field. I don't really know what else to say about what he's done, what the receivers have done, what the offensive line continues to do. It's on another level. Even the running backs, have had a solid year, but we don't talk about the running backs because it's hard to get there because of what everybody else is doing.
You're just seeing greatness, man. And be careful taking it for granted or wallowing in frustration because of defense or whatever else, because you're going to let greatness go by and you're not going to really appreciate it. You got one more opportunity to really chew on it, right? As you're digesting as you're eating your Thanksgiving gumbo, which is the best form of gumbo, you got one more opportunity to watch the best form of offense that you may see for I don't know how long. So let us give thanks and enjoy this holiday season.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
98.1.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-12681, offices in Baton Rouge. Eagle 98.1, WDGL and HC1 Baton Rouge. Eagle 98.1, Game Day. Talkin' Tigers. Presented by TRICARE. TRICARE. For all your gas or diesel vehicles needs, take it to TRICARE. Talkin' Tigers. Defensive back Javian Toviano.
I think we're improving each and every week. I mean, we pride ourselves on just playing hard. I mean, competing. Getting extra time in the film room is big with us. I know Ashton does a good job of it. I do. And just making sure that we're recovered and ready to go for every practice and game.
Tight end Mac Markway.
It was a really cool experience. Like, I was literally talking to my dad the night before, like, I mean, that would just be awesome to score a touchdown as a freshman, you know. So that was kind of like a dream come true, honestly, just get that one. Thanks to the line, held it up. Jaden threw a great ball. I mean, it was just a great play all around.
Cornerback Ashton Stamps.
The game is obviously faster in college than high school. You're going against every single receiver on the college team is like a top receiver, so everything's fast, it's moving fast. You got to be on point. You got to make sure you turn your hips right, little stuff like that, good technique. And yeah, that's really it.
Running back Trey Holly.
From a leadership standpoint, Josh, Logan, and all the upperclassmen, I mean, they just showing me the way. I mean, each and every practice, I'm asking them questions. I mean, they're right there explaining and asking me, like, did you get that? Did you get this? Just like learning the plays, the techniques, the standpoints, and all of that. Just being there with them. I mean, it's like joy because I mean they're like my older brothers. Me and Caleb's older brothers, so they're just teaching us.
Defensive back Javian Toviano.
Things that I've worked on just are my eyes, my technique, just making sure that I'm fundamentally sound and I'm taking all the adjustments that coaches are making during the week and the playbook, just taking it all in and being a playmaker from it.
Tight end Mac Markway.
Football is a childhood sport. I mean, we play it our whole lives, and really it's just, you got to have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, you're going to make a little bit more mistakes. But if you're calm, cool, relaxed, I mean, you're going to just have fun and ball out.
Cornerback Ashton Stamps.
Oh, we definitely improved from the beginning of the season. I can speak on the secondary, like corners-wise, we definitely improved. It's like the little things, like just turning around, looking for the ball, things like that, being in position, and just mentally getting there, because we're young, so we're learning and developing, and we definitely got better.
Running back Trey Holly.
That was amazing. That was my best touchdown of my career, even high school. I mean, I always dreamed about playing Death Valley, so it was like a dream come true to me.
Defensive back Javian Toviano.
Of course, I mean, Texas guy, but I mean, it's just another team that we're playing. I mean, another SEC caliber opponent that's going to play us tough. Of course, it's fun just going to see some of those guys, you know, that I've been around in the area that I grew up in, but ultimately we're trying to win the game, and so that's our main focus.
Tight end Mac Markway.
I've learned so much just mentally from him, kind of just learn how to process everything a little bit quicker, and because college is a lot faster than high school, so he's obviously got a year under his belt, so he kind of was able to take me under his wing and show me the ways on how he's able to process and read defenses.
Cornerback Ashton Stamps.
It just seems like, to me, he's just calm, collective, like he's just letting things happen, and he's just confident in what he do. And I see him every day, 5 o'clock in the morning in here just working. And it's just the little things that matter. It's just not about playing football. It's about the schoolwork, all that type of stuff.
Running back Trey Holly.
Caleb, that's like my brother from another mother. I mean, me and him had connections like throughout high school and all of that. This was kind of like our plan. We always talk about like the 1-2 punch that you guys are gonna see like in the upcoming years and stuff like that. So that's gonna be great.
Defensive back Javian Toviano.
Firm believer in iron sharpens iron, going against Malik and BT and Kyron. Those are probably the best receivers you're gonna see on all year. I mean, I think we have number 1 and 2 receivers in the country. I mean, it's a great opportunity to go out and practice up against them every week, and I definitely feel myself improving from it.
Tight end Mac Markway.
To us, it's just another game. We got to prepare the same. Like I said, SEC, we got to prepare really hard, like every other week, and just really just go out there and do our thing, just play our ball.
Cornerback Ashton Stamps.
I just view it as another opportunity to get better. Just enjoy it with the seniors. This their last game, so it's just about having fun.
Talking Tigers. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me. I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's a luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Opposing Media.
Presented by Rev. Fiber fast internet made in Louisiana.
Earlier this week, Matt Moscona sat down with Carter Carls from Gig'em 247 to take a closer look at Texas A&M.
Thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Good. I appreciate you having me, man.
It's always our pleasure. Hey, man, give me a little bit of a vibe check in College Station since the Jimbo firing here as they play out the string.
Yeah, things have sort of settled down as far as just the shock that happened when he was fired after the Mississippi State game. But yeah, in the middle of a coaching search. I know they're trying to get it done before the transfer portal opens on December 4th. So kind of in the heat of it now, and I would expect it to get announced within the next week or so.
I'll come back to the coaching search if I could at the end. But what is getting more attention there in College Station? Is it this finale against LSU, or is it the coaching search?
Oh, the coaching search, no doubt. I mean, I think there's sort of a sense of like LSU could beat A&M by 70, and it's like, who cares? The next coach is what really matters right now. Now, obviously, a big focus has been roster retainment and trying to keep these players happy. It's why they kind of did what they did as far as timing goes with letting go Fisher. It kind of gave them some time to adjust. And, had they done that after the LSU game, then, oh, crap, you're kind of having to run and hurry and get a coach in place after the portal opens. And so I think that's why they did what they did. And ever since then, that's been kind of what has dominated the attention for sure.
Carter, is that when you say that there's way more focus on the coaching search than the LSU game? I would assume that's the program at large and the fan. But what about the players? Did they seem focused on Saturday?
Not this last Saturday, not one bit. I mean, They looked like a team that was sleepwalking. They really started off poorly. Obviously, they had the pick six on the second offensive play of the game against Abilene Christian. And, yeah, it's just kind of an uninspiring win. But I think that, hey, if you can pick which game to have that, it'd be the ACU. And I think they kind of considered ACU like a bye week to allow them to adjust. I don't think they were expecting to come out firing. I do still think there is a lack of focus among the team. This is a once-in-a-century kind of move, a $76.8 million buyout, and the timing of it and just how talented this roster is and the expectations that they had. This is sending shockwaves not just in the A&M locker room, but in the college football world at large. So, yeah, I wouldn't expect them to be entirely focused, but, I mean, LSU and Baton Rouge, players are going to get up for that. It is going to be a game where they obviously, want to go all out for. So I do think they'll be more focused this week, but I still think they're pretty distracted.
Carter Carls, Gig'em 247. He's on Twitter at Carter Carls. I'll give him a follow. It's Carls with a K. Who's going to play quarterback against LSU Saturday?
I'm thinking Jalen Henderson. It hasn't been entirely decided yet, but Max Johnson's got 3 cracked ribs on his left side. Left-handed quarterback. Kind of hard to throw. He got cracked ribs. He played through it. He had cracked ribs that he played through, but it's going to be hard. I know they rested him the last 2 games in hopes that he could be ready for this game, but I'm kind of in see-it-when-I-believe-it mode when it comes to him playing.
So what does the offense look like with Henderson as opposed to what it looked like with Max Johnson or Connor Wigman?
Yeah, Henderson's another lefty, a lot more mobile than Johnson. So I think he's someone that is going to use his legs a lot more. He's still a third-team quarterback, very inexperienced, came from Fresno State, where he only played kind of as a reserve there. Looked great in his first action against Mississippi State and kind of fell back down to earth against ACU. But, yeah, I mean, he can make some throws. It's just not all there with him yet. He lacks kind of that experience. But the playmaking ability is what you want to watch with him. He can, run around the pocket, run for a 20-yard gain, run around and complete a 30-yard pass down the field. It's not like the typical third-team quarterback who walks into the game and is just kind of dink and dunk. So he'll make some plays out there, but definitely a big drop-off from Connor Wigman.
Hey, look, Carter, it's no secret. LSU's defense is atrocious. But look, when you're into Game 12, you just have to call it what it is.
Yeah.
What might A&M have success with offensively against LSU?
Yeah, well, I mean, with Henderson using his legs, I think could be a big advantage. I mean, I think the thing with LSU is you kind of expected Harold Perkins to be this dynamic pass rusher again this year. LSU hasn't been very good as far as stacking the quarterback and the pass rush and all that kind of stuff. So I think for a struggling offensive line, that should give you an advantage to maybe, hey, give more time for these receivers downfield. I mean, they do have a lot of talent in that wide receiver room when it comes to Nia Smith and Moose Muhammad, Noah Thomas, Evan Stewart. And so, yeah, I think kind of that downfield passing game may be where the advantage is. They've taken more shots down the field with Jalen Henderson these last couple games. So I think that could be something. And like I said, Henderson with his legs could be a threat as well.
Flip it over to the defensive side. I think that's kind of the story, right, Carter? We know A&M's got a lot of talent on defense. It just hasn't always come together. Where is maybe the consistent part of the strength of that defense right now?
Well, they've got two fantastic linebackers. Edgerrin Cooper, he's not up for the Butt Kiss Award, which is crazy to me because I don't think there's been a better linebacker in the country this season. He has just been everywhere, leads the team in basically every category, will be a top 100 pick this next year. Torian York, as a true freshman, 3-star recruit, has way exceeded his expectations. And then the defensive line has also been, a threat to be reckoned with. Like I think they have almost 40 sacks this season, and you're just loaded with talent there with guys like McKinley Jackson, who will be, a draft pick next year, Walter Nolan, former 5-star recruit. And, there's just a lot of talent on that defensive line. And, they've been a lot better at stopping the run this year. Only really bad game against the run was against Tennessee, but it's that secondary where the big question is. And that's what you got to be worried about when you're facing a team like LSU that's got guys like Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. It's not a good recipe for that defense.
I mean, nobody's really stopped the LSU offense. The feeling here is like they're going to get theirs. It's just, can the defense get enough stops to give the offense an opportunity to build a lead? I know the line's 11.5. It's double digits. Is this a game that you expect LSU to be able to win and win comfortably?
I think so. I think LSU, still pretty motivated, could get 10 wins. I know the season hasn't gone the way they would have hoped. I mean, if they just had an average defense, you're probably talking about a playoff team right now.
Believe me, brother, that's been the story here for about a month now.
Yeah. And, Daniels is still playing for a Heisman. I know he's the favorite, and he's going to be motivated to put up some numbers. But I just think this A&M team is still a little distracted, has some holes. I mean, it's a bad matchup defensively because every good passing team they've faced so far has torched them, and they're not really good against mobile quarterbacks. And so I think Daniels is going to light them up. I think their receivers will light them up. And, I don't know if it'll be a total blowout, but I do think there's potential that could happen.
Carter, before you go, and Carter Carls is our guest on Twitter at Carter Carls, Gig'em247. Could you just give us the Cliff's Notes thumbnail version of the catch-up on this A&M coaching search?
Yeah, a lot of crazy rumors out there. And
no kidding.
we have – there are people speculating, Ryan Day might be a candidate, and it's like, okay, let's calm down a little bit. But there's been some consistent names with the search, Jeff Traylor being one of them at UTSA, Mike Elko, the former A&M defensive coordinator, now at Duke. And then you got guys who were maybe long shots. I mentioned Day. I think he is way outside of the realm of possibility, but certainly someone that has been mentioned. Kalen DeBoer at Washington as well. And then Jed Fish from Arizona has been a guy who has been mentioned to me a few times in the last week as somebody that, there's mutual interest there. But again, I think that the timeline is the portal opens December 4th. I think A&M wants to have their guy right before that. But then you also have potential candidates who could be in conference championship games. And, like Kalen DeBoer maybe in the playoffs. So it's kind of tricky logistics-wise if you're still holding out hope for some of these long shot guys. But I still expect A&M to get this done before the portal opens because I know that's kind of their primary objective here.
He is Carter Carls on Twitter at Carter Carls, K-A-R-E-L-S, Gig'em 247. We appreciate it, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Recruiting with Shay Dixon from On3 Sports. Presented by Ralph's Market. Ralph's Market, where quality and customer service are a family tradition.
The Bears countdown to kickoff, a little over 2.5 hours now between the start of today's game between LSU and Texas A&M. We bring in Shay Dixon from On3. Shay, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Charlie?
You making it into campus yet?
I am about to be on my way. How crazy is the traffic?
Oh, I don't know. I was just wondering if you had to drive on Nicholson Drive and if you had to maybe dodge around some of the craters on Nicholson Drive because the city won't fix it. You know, that road that they destroyed 6 months ago they just won't fix. I was just wondering if you'd been on the road today.
I naturally avoid it. I've got a secret little way. I kind of maneuver my way back through to my parking space.
Well, I wouldn't ask you to divulge such information. I was just thinking about the thousands and thousands of people that were coming in from west of Baton Rouge that had to drive on that dilapidated road that they haven't fixed for the last 6 months. I was just curious if you. I'm glad that you have a secret way, Shay, that saves you some time and prohibits you from having to go on that terrible road. Just thought I'd mention it.
Your message is delivered. I think people are hearing it loud and clear out there.
They're going to hear it more today because I'm going to get my point across.
You got 3 hours on postgame.
I'm going to get my point across if it kills me because I just don't understand how you can destroy such a major thoroughfare in a city of this size and just leave it like that for 6 months. I need somebody to explain that to me. And believe me, I've asked. So anyway, let me ask you what I brought you on to ask you, which was about recruiting. Where does LSU sit right now? As we're a few weeks away from signing date, and of course, this is the last chance to have visitors on campus for a game.
It is. So they are at 25 commits. We talked about this a lot, that they would end up between 25 and 30 commits. I think they're still going to be in that range, maybe 27, 28 guys in this class. And that's a mix of high school and then potential JUCO additions I think they'll still have. And then beyond that, I look at really, Charlie, the thing that kind of stands out to me is how does today go? And I keep saying this. I might have said it even a week ago, but I consider this to be one of the biggest games, if not the biggest. We debated it last week, of Brian Kelly's 2-year tenure, because you win. You may have a Heisman winner. You certainly have this advantage to pitching recruiting that you took over a team that had had the first losing season since 1999 and got them to back-to-back 10-win seasons. And all of the kind of ins and outs of each week get forgotten when you can say that. And then if you have a Heisman or a Bolitnikoff or those trophies sitting around, the trophy room when you walk into football ops, the young recruits who are walking in this year, next year, the year after, they're not going to think about when you blew a game at Ole Miss or whatever it might be. You lose today, you're an 8-win team. You went backwards from a year ago with the number one offense in America. Daniels isn't going to win the Heisman if you have 4 losses. So between recruiting and the actual on-field results, I just think this game is so paramount for them to win.
I don't know if you can quantify it, but just kind of give me an idea of the impact that Daniels' season has had on recruiting, and not just recruiting of quarterbacks, although obviously that's important, but of anybody. The extra eyeballs that this has put on the program, or offensive players that are seeing the success that's possible here.
100%. I mean, look at a guy like DeCorian Moore out of Dallas, a 5-star who is considered to be a heavy Texas lean with a lot of Longhorns in his family. He committed to LSU, and he stayed committed because they put together a really remarkable season. And you say beyond quarterback, I think, though, that right now we're kind of in a mode where that's where it could begin for LSU. And they have George McIntyre, the number 2 quarterback in America, out of Nashville for next year. He's visited twice now for games. He's back for this game today, twice this season, I should say. He was at a game last year as well, but he's now making a return trip. And then you've already had Bryce Underwood, the number 1 quarterback in the country, another 5-star on campus for a game this year. He announces on January 6th. LSU has been trending on the on 3 RPM as the team to beat there, but they're also very much in it with McIntyre. I think you look at those guys and say, hey, a quarterback from Michigan, a quarterback from Tennessee, 2 5-stars, the number 1 and 2 overall players in the country. Like, of course, Joe Sloan and the staff have done a very good job recruiting them. But at some point you realize that, hey, what could really put you over the top is a number 1 offense and a performance like Jaden Daniels has had. And I think, Charlie, in the same breath, you say, look at Malik and Brian Thomas, and they've already got, like I said, a 5-star number 2 receiver in the country committed from out of state. They've got Teron Francis, the number 1 receiver in the state for next year, already committed. So these high school recruits certainly see what this offense is doing position-wise and say, hey, I want to be a part of that.
Shay, give us the highlights of the visit list today, and if any are official.
No official visits. Most of those are saved for these next few weeks leading up to signing day. But I will say that, given it's an LSU A&M battle here on the field today, what about off the field? Well, Terry Bussey, the 5-star athlete out of Timpson, they played yesterday in their playoff game during the day and got a win. So he was able to make the trip in. We talked about that when you set it for 11 a.m. So many out-of-state kids, that makes it very, very tough to drive in and beat campus and roll through your potholes on Nicholson and do all that and get to the game and actually hang out with the staff or do anything, make it to the sidelines before 11 a.m. And they still did a good job of getting some of these guys in who are really top targets. And Terry Bussey fits that bill. He's committed to A&M, but has said that, hey, I still want to look around. Now he's debating waiting until February signing day, which, Charlie, you remember that, huh? We've got to dust it off.
I do,
February signing day that kids can sign on. So may not be in a rush to do it. He'll see what hires all these schools make at different positions. And then Gabe Relaford, the big man out of Evangel, has been committed to A&M since the summer, but LSU's offered and has been putting on the full court press. Obviously, Evangel's already out of the playoffs, so all eyes are on him. And if he does indeed pop up on campus today, those are the two big A&M commits they're really, really after.
Shay, before we let you go, key official visits from uncommitted prospects that we know about right now that'll happen between the end of the season and the first signing period?
I think that Gabe Relaford is one that we're really eyeing to see if one plays out. It wouldn't be today, but can you get him and his family down on an official visit? I think that would tip the scales in LSU's favor. And you could throw another A&M commit out of Louisiana in there, and Dominic McKinley, who is a Acadiana High team, plays tonight in the playoffs. So obviously he won't make it to the game today, but he's been committed to A&M for a while. You somehow swing a visit from him. I think for the most part, the class is nearly put together. Like I said, add a few more guys. They've got some JUCO guys on the defensive line they've targeted and at other positions who are really good players. But I think that they could end up making officials. But for me, the biggest that have not made official visits yet would be your two in-state defensive linemen who both happen to be committed to Texas A&M in a period where Texas A&M's D-line coach is the interim head coach. Had that not happened, I'm not sure both those guys would still be committed.
Shay, we'll look forward to your coverage after the game on 3. Appreciate all season long what you have done for us, and we'll check in with you before the bowl game.
It sounds perfect to me. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks a lot. Shay Dixon from On 3. We're brought to you in part by AJ's Sports Cards, located off Drusilla, open from 9:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, and from 9:30 until 2 on Saturdays. Football, baseball, and basketball cards, also a good variety of Pokemon cards. And for all of the collectors out there, all the supplies that you need, like cases and sleeves. Also, right now, the Topps Chrome MVP buyback program is in place at AJ's. Your refractors that have more than 100 copies, they're offering $100 in-store credit. Refractors with less than 100 copies, $200 in-store credit. This is the Topps Chrome MVP buyback promotion that's going on right now at AJ's Sports Cards, located off of Drusilla. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll check in with Matt Moscona. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
After further review on Game Day, presented by the Grove Recovery Center. The Grove Recovery Center. Recovery designed for you. After further review is heard weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from AFR, here's Matt Moscona.
All Bears countdown to kickoff about 2 hours and 20 minutes from right now. LSU and Texas A&M. We bring in Matt Moscona. Scone, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. I'm about to go find a parking lot to wake up.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, just be careful if you're driving on Nicholson Drive. You may have noticed it looks like the surface of the moon. So be extra careful if you're if you go. Yeah, that's the question on everybody's mind. Shouldn't they fix the road? You know, one of two major arteries into a school of this size. I mean, I'm just asking. It's been a minute. You know, they tore it up six months ago and just left. You know, so I think that they should fix it. You know, that's just me. You know, maybe I've asked Brian Haldane to ask our friends at DOTD. They may not be our friends after today, but just if they could, please fix the road. You know,
Hanny, today is Small Business Saturday, so think about all of the car repair shops that are getting tons of work fixing people's axles and alignments after driving down Nicholson.
Yeah, if you drive down Nicholson, you will get a little bit of damage done there for sure. All right, what did you think Bo Nix's performance last night did to the Heisman race?
Well, I mean, I was checking some of the sports books odds, and it looks like he closed the gap, and in some of the books he overtook Jaden Daniels. But I kind of feel like it's almost like, if you'll forgive a political reference, it's almost like when you get in a presidential race, you kind of get a convention bump, right? So like after the RNC or the DNC, that candidate gets a bump in the ratings, but it'll level out in time. If Jaden goes out today, I mean, guys, this is the best way I could say it. LSU played Georgia State. Fewer than 1 million people watched that game. And Jaden Daniels dramatically overtook Bo Nix after that performance last week, when Bo Nix put up 6 touchdowns and 400 yards on the road in a conference game. So if Jaden goes out today and does the thing that he's done all season and puts up 400 or 500 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns, he'll just be right back in the spot he was. Then the question becomes, how many voters are going to cast their vote now? How many are going to wait to see what Bo Nix does next week?
That platform in the Pac-12 championship game next Friday night, I think, is going to be what ends up deciding this race. And if Nix puts up another performance like that, that's going to be the last thing voters see, and that would make it harder for Daniels, but not impossible. Again, today is huge where Daniels' Heisman candidacy is concerned. Matt, the Texas A&M defense, this is a defense that creates a lot of negative plays. So they are number 1 in the nation in tackles for loss and 2nd in the nation in sacks. How do you think that they will go about attacking this offense, prolific as it's been?
I think they try to attack Jaden Daniels. I don't – and listen, A&M's defense, where they've been susceptible, has been on the back end. But it's a pick your poison with Jaden, because if you sit back and try to play coverage and you leave lanes for Jaden to make plays with his feet, I mean, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I think they're going to try to attack him. It's their physical, aggressive style. Their strongest unit, obviously, is their front 7. You just laid out the stats. What's interesting to me, Hanny, is LSU, the offensive line, has allowed the 2nd fewest tackles for loss all season. So it's really good on really good in that instance. Now, how much of that is Jaden's ability to avoid pressure when it's there? I mean, that's obviously a big part of it. We saw that with Burrow in 2019, right? That offensive line won the Joe Moore Award. But how many times did Joe, because he was so good, erase mistakes by that line? I think Jaden's the same. But to answer your question, I think A&M's aggressive today. I mean, if you're A&M, what do you have to lose? I mean, you're a 7-win team. Your coach has been fired. You got an interim coach who's not going to keep this job. The staff is going to be replaced. You might as well go be aggressive and play loose and free, which I think A&M is going to do today.
Who do you think is going to be the next Texas A&M coach?
Mike Elko makes the most sense, doesn't he? I mean, he was there. He understands the culture. He's been a head coach at a place where it's really hard to win, and he's won there. That makes the most sense to me. But, talking to some of my friends at Texas A&M who cover that program, it sure sounds like they have done a far extensive search that's included names in the NFL, college, major programs, smaller programs. I know the name Jeff Traylor from UTSA is the name that leaked, but I don't get the sense that he's a front runner or anything. He's just one of the names that leaked, right? God, but if I had to guess, I mean, I'd say Elko, unless Hanny, if Ross Bjork has a trick up his sleeve, the actual name that none of us know, kind of like when Woodward was going after Brian Kelly. None of us knew it until they were about to shove him up to the podium.
Yeah, is there a Godfather offer to the loser of next week's Pac-12 championship game? Mm-hmm. And I know what Dan Lanning has said publicly, and I respect that he's got to go say that, but I also know that things change in coaching searches. So, that's one of them. Elko makes a ton of sense. I do wonder, and this wouldn't matter to me because I judge him on more than this. They have lost 4 out of 5. Duke was riding high in the middle of September. The beginning part of October, and now they've lost 4 out of 5 games. They're going to finish 7-5 or 6-6, and I don't know if that's the they want to go out and try to sell that record. Like I said, that wouldn't matter to me. I would judge Elko on everything he had done, but the facts are, hey, it's tough to push a coach when he's coming in off of a downer like that. I mean, LSU had to push Jerry DiNardo when he was coming off a 65-0 loss. It was a tough press conference, and they handled it great, but it wasn't the most. It required a little bit of public relations there. So that's my thought.
Les also, remember Les lost his last game there at Oklahoma State and got blown out. You'll remember better than I will, Andy, but he got blown out in the last game there. But number one, Duke, Riley Leonard was hurt earlier this year. I mean, so they've gone through a little. They've gone through a little bit of that. And as far as the Pac-12, I don't think Dan Lanning is a legitimate candidate because my understanding is A&M wants to get this done before the transfer portal window opens, which is December the 4th. So very soon after this game is played today, I think A&M is going to announce their coach. And if that's the case, they're not going to wait on Dan Lanning, who's going to be in the playoff most likely. So I think Kalen DeBoer might be a more realistic name.
But you're assuming that Oregon's going to beat Washington.
I am, yes.
I think they will too, but still got to play the game. All right, Scone, whiskey and wine immediately following.
Yeah. And if anybody's looking for a place to watch the game, T-Bob and I will be over there. So Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center, great place. They're open up at 10:30, so great place to watch. And if you can't join us post-game at Don Juan, we'll be streaming on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube and Facebook, and streaming on TikTok today as well. So we're going to give that a go, or unless if Muso tells me that's not actually going to happen.
No, we're going to have it. We're going to make it work.
That a babe.
Very good. All right, Scone, appreciate it. We'll talk to you after the game.
All right, guys. See you.
And we are brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com for your tailgating for the holidays. Make it Supreme Rice and support our Louisiana farmers down in Crowley, Louisiana since the 1930s. Supreme Rice is grown, milled, and processed down in Southwest Louisiana, and they're part of the Climate Smart program, which is, designed so that future generations of Louisiana farmers can benefit as well. Methane emissions are reduced, water conservation. Look for the Climate Smart packaging on all of your Supreme Rice products. Get them at your Walmarts, at your Rouse's, at your AG food stores. You're going to get more for your money, and you're going to be supporting our local economy. For more information, some great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing
is 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Inside the stadium. Inside the stadium.
Presented by K to Z Window Coverings. K to Z Blinds.com, where style meets functionality, both inside and out.
And we're going to go to campus here in a minute, hook up with the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. Okay. I was concerned there for a minute. We were having a hard time hooking up. I thought maybe he'd fallen in one of the potholes on Nicholson Drive.
He could have.
I mean, they should really fix that, don't you think?
6 months it's been broken?
Something like that.
6 months?
Something
6
like
months.
That. Yeah, they'll get around to it eventually. Chris, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Nothing like a late night basketball game, then turn around and get ready for football for a Saturday morning.
Well, you've seen this rivalry up close and personal. Last time A&M was here, LSU won it on a last-second touchdown pass, and well, that quarterback now plays for Texas A&M, though he's not going to play today. Chris, the week that we've had here, I guess touting Jaden Daniels for the Heisman, and I know the school has done some things as far as some promotional stuff, but basically just what you got to do is put the numbers up there. They do a lot of the talking for themselves.
Yeah, this is kind of the last big stage, if you will. And again, I know Texas A&M is not quite the team they thought they were going to be preseason, but as you mentioned, it's a big game for them, and they've won 3 out of the last 5, believe it or not. I know it took 7 years and 7 overtimes for them to beat LSU in SEC play, but here of late, it's certainly upped. I don't know that LSU fans consider it a rivalry, even though this is rivalry weekend, but I know Texas A&M does. So for Jaden Daniels, this is an opportunity not only in this type of game to put up those type of numbers, but you're also looking at a Texas A&M team that offensively have been all over the map, up and down, but defensively they've been consistent, and they are near the top or at the top in every category in the SEC, and they lead the country in sacks and tackles for loss. So not only is it a quote-unquote rivalry game, Charlie, but it's a game in which if he can put up big numbers against this defense, it's certainly going to stand out.
I'm wondering what some of the things that Brian Kelly shared in the coaches show the other night, or with you personally, about trying to scout Texas A&M's offense. This is the third quarterback, and of course the head coach is not there anymore. So a lot of that film work, you can tell some things, but a lot has changed over the course of the season for A&M.
Coach was talking about it Thursday, and he and I did talk about it during the timeout. If Jalen Henderson is the quarterback, we expect him to be today. the third-string quarterback, Fresno State transfer. Again, he's been in some plays, so while he was the third-string quarterback this year, it's not as if he doesn't have experience in gameplay. And Coach said, hey, they're a different team. Make no mistake. Again, there's a reason he did not beat out Connor Wegman, did not beat out Max Johnson, but he's a dual-threat quarterback. And, there were a lot of rumors throughout the season that maybe Jimbo and Bobby Petrino weren't exactly seeing eye to eye. Who knows if that's true? But the fact of the matter is now the handcuffs, if there were any, are completely off. And, talking to Coach, he expected to see a little bit of everything. And then talking to Andrew Monaco, voice of Texas A&M, had him on the podcast this week. And he said, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're going to see some stuff that A&M has not shown this season, from an offensive perspective. So, Coach Elijah Robinson, he's kind of drawing on this brotherhood and the guys who are actually coming to Baton Rouge. There are a few that decided to go ahead and shut down the season. But for those who are coming, they really believe it's a brotherhood. We got to go in there. It's us against the world, and we'll throw everything at the wall. So I think LSU's defense is going to see, a lot of different things from A&M. And, when you look at their skill players, they run by committee. They've got a huge, incredible group of wide receivers, and they use them in the run game as well. So I think everything's on the table.
Chris, have a great call, and we will talk to you I'm sure we'll talk to you before then, but we will check in with you before LSU's bowl game.
All righty, Charlie. Thanks for having me on each week, and looking forward to a great day.
And we will hand it over. Thank you, Chris. We'll hand it over to the LSU Sports Radio Network here at the top of the hour. One final break, and we're back to wrap it up. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks.
98.1.
Brandon Holly here. Siding, windows, even doors. ReliefWindows.com.
Eagle 98.1, WDGL and HD1 Baton Rouge.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day wrapping up. Musso, final thoughts besides I know you agree with me that they should fix Nicholson Drive, but other than that.
They should fix Nicholson Drive. Obviously, look, you want to see Daniels get his numbers. I'd like to see Malik break the career receiving record. But, Hanny, I really want to see if LSU can land an early knockout punch here and maybe pull away, get Texas A&M a little disinterested in this football game if they can start fast on both sides going up against the third quarterback.
Hey, get in the scene. If you're out tailgating, whatever, get in the stadium early. This is senior day. This group deserves it, and I'd love to see a great gathering some 15, 20 minutes before kickoff and send this group out the right way, especially Daniels, who's has had a remarkable career here today and hopes to put an exclamation point on that today. We'll be back 90 minutes after the end of LSU and Texas A&M. We'll be at Rouse's. Former LSU Tiger Richard Dixon will join me, and we'll take your calls following LSU and Texas A&M. From all of us here at the Flagship, I'm Charles Hanger saying thank you and good morning. Stay tuned now for the LSU Sports Radio Network's pregame show here on Eagle 98.1.
The following is an exclusive